Hi, this is Matt with Mohave Lock and Safe. I'm going to be talking about rekeying versus replacing locks tonight. I'm going to show you in a roundabout way what we do if you ask us to come out and rekey your locks. Right now this lock is keyed to work with this key. This key does not work it, but I am going to rekey it so that this key will work it. Now, while I'm doing that, what we get, and the reason we're putting this together is we get people that call up and they say, I want you to come out and replace my locks. A lot of people think at first that we're going to come out and replace all their locks, and they think that sounds very expensive, and that indeed could be expensive. But the cheaper solution, and it's a common solution, and it's what we're all too happy to do, is to come out and repin your locks. And we take the set of pins that were in your locks before, we dump them out, and we match them to the new key. So the old key no longer works in this lock. This lock now works with this key. This key does not work it anymore. Now, for us, this is something we do every day, so that didn't take very long, but I also prepared for this video, so there was no preparation time in taking the locks off doors, things like that. The other thing I want to explain is this lock is set up for a Schlage key. It will only accept a Schlage type key. I cannot take this quickset key and put it in there. It's just not going to go. Same thing with a Yale key. It will not go in there, and vice versa. You can't put a Schlage in a Yale or a quickset. If you do want us to come out and replace your locks, we're all too happy to do that too. Sometimes locks do break, sometimes people do want to change their locks. The only thing we can't do is if you want us to rekey the entire house and you have a mixture of Schlage or quickset, is make one. You want to make sure when you hire a locksmith that you're going to get what you pay for. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Every pin in your lock is a measure of security. Each one of these pins has a value because it matches a place on that key. What a lot of locksmiths around town have started doing is dumping out almost half of your security. So if you hire a locksmith and you get a really, really cheap locksmith, this is most likely what you're getting when you pay to have your locks rekeyed. There could be hundreds or even thousands of keys that could now fit your lock because two of those were dumped out. Every pin, every single pin that goes in that lock is a measure of security. You want to make sure when you're hiring a locksmith that he's not going to be cheating you out of your security. Something else that we can talk about while I'm putting this back together is pick resistant pins. We do offer putting in pick resistant pins. Times are getting tougher. It has happened. It's not common where somebody will actually pick the locks, but it has happened. Also, lock bumping. If you don't know what lock bumping is, that's where you take a specially cut key and you can wrap it into a lock with a hammer, and it will actually open the lock. There are measures that we can take to counter that as well. Nothing is 100%, nothing is foolproof, but we can take measures to correct that. I hope you've learned a little bit about rekeying versus replacing locks. You can always stop in and talk with us or call. And if you have any questions and want to know more, we're going to be doing more videos in the future. We're going to be doing another video soon on master keying. We'll be doing videos on interchangeable cores, access control. And before I go, one other thing that's very common, that is a question that people ask is, should I spray WD-40 or graphite in my locks? No. The answer is no to either one of those. This is the #1 suggestion for most household locks. Master Lock Lubricant. This is a dry spray. It sprays on wet, dries extremely fast. This will clean the lock as well as lubricate it. Oil, WD-40, we're in the desert. Take a little bit of it, spray it on the side of your house, and throw some sand at it and see what happens. That's the exact same thing that's going to happen to your locks in a sandstorm. And when you do have a sandstorm, a lot of times your locks will stop working all of a sudden. More than likely you need some lubrication. There are some more expensive locks, like our multi-locks out there and Asa locks that are out there, that require this spray only. If you don't have a real high security lock on your door, you don't need to worry about it, but we do have it here available at Mohave Lock and Safe. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and again, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop by at Mohave Lock and Safe on Highway 95, and our phone number is 928-704-0707. Have a good night.